Alright, looks like things are going properly here. It is time for another day of the new world. Very excited. Our MSQ appears to be fixed now. So we actually get to go do the MSQ, which is super exciting. The way the MSQ worked is it started down here. There was a person you had to talk to down here, and then you took the boat. And the boat took you and dropped you off right up over here, next to where this other raid is. So we're going to fast travel over here. And we're going to go get started on this MSQ. Get ourselves up to level 70, because we weren't really able to pass levels yesterday. We made it to 66 just by killing things. Which should mean we should have a pretty easy time getting to level 70. Because the MSQ should take you to level 70 anyway. So, should not be a problem. We should be able to just get there. Now I need to figure out exactly where. Okay, we are just going straight this way. All right. Away we go. What are we doing here? Ask Lynette about the tier. All right. What's up, Lynette? Tell me a story. By tell me a story, I mean I don't care about your story. Help the citizens of Grivaros. Collect scattered supplies. Ask some nerd about the tier. Okay, then we come over here. I love how it doesn't tell us which townsfolk we're helping. I also love how, even though it's day 2 and most people place the first board on the window. All right. But I think enough people had problems, and I also think that enough people probably waited for the second day. That there's still just a ton of people doing the first mission here for the new quest line. I find that hilarious. We just boarding up windows. Was there a hurricane? Is that what happened? Talk to some nerd. Oh, right. Holding net. I'm glad that my help helped. Now where are we going? Who we talking to out here? I'm really very excited about defend the farm. Oh, okay. So we're killing things. Got it. Bop. 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 Oh, shiznit. Bop. Bop. I am not set up For solo shit, I do no damage. I've got almost all my points in con, specifically for tanking. So this is going to be a little bit rough, probably. I did manage to get some over 700 tier gear yesterday. So I'm over, yeah, I got a 728 gear score here. Which is nice. We're going to be working on that. We're going to be working on getting this MSQ done. We're going to get ourselves up to level 70. And then we're going to do some motherfucking catacombs. Because the catacombs are the best. That dude looks like a vampire. So I've already come and done a bunch of these. But that's fine. We get to come back in here and do them again. Super dope. Collect crystals. Okay, so there's got to be another crystal around here somewhere. What's up, dead dude? Oh, shiznit. All right. That's fine, I suppose. Everything respawns too quickly. There's too many people. Hey, great axe. You stay away from me, dead guy. All right, into the water we go. We are getting so much good gear. They're probably going to have to tone it back, but I think people are a little more concerned about the volume of gear drops than they really need to be. And that's primarily because there are so many more perks and perk combinations and stuff like that now with the new updates to gearing that I don't think it's going to be very easy to get best in slot gear. And so I think you're getting a lot of sort of middle of the road gear. And I think that's pretty good because it's going to mean that if you want to switch specs or, change what you're playing at all, then. Oh, shiznit. Okay, good. If you want to switch specs or change what you're playing at all or anything like that, then you're going to end up getting the gear that you need to at least make a go of it, fairly simply. And then you can kind of switch into that spec and start trying some other stuff. Ooh, anima quartz. I don't even really know what this is for, but we're gonna get it. Yeah, anima quartz, anima quartz. But anyway, so I think it'll make it really easy to try different builds, do different specs, which I think is important. Especially because we're getting infixes now, which are kind of like artifacts. We're getting sets now. We're getting, more artifacts. Artifacts were already really build defining. I think the average player is just going to have, 4 or 5 or even more builds. You're going to have a PvP build. You're going to have a tank build. You're going to have a PvE build. You're going to have solo builds. You're going to have a catacombs build. You're going to have all these different things that are going to be extremely unique to the specific content that you're trying to do at any given time. And so I'm really happy about that. I think that's very important. I think that harkens back to my favorite MMORPG game of all time, which was Guild Wars, the original Guild Wars. And, back then, there were lots of different little activities to do. You had 12-person dungeons, you had 4-person dungeons, you had alliance battles, you had 4v4 PvP, you had the underworld, you had the Fissure of Woe, you had all this other different types of content. And those different types of content had a lot of different enemy types and stuff like that. And so there were different ways to go about trying to beat that content. And I mean, it was a huge deal. People were always building new builds and trying new things and doing different stuff. And so it was a lot of fun to go in there and do all of that. But here's, just some of the stuff that you can get now. Actually, I got this sword that I got is pretty fucking insane. So check this out. This has 2 empty offense slots for charms, which means you can add, some sort of damage boosting charm in there. But then you've got Shock Attunement, which deals plus 11% weapon damage as lightning. You have Abyssal Attunement, which is going to deal plus 11% weapon damage as void. And then you have Disdained Infection, which increases your dots by 12% and then allows you to extend your dots by hitting. So if you were doing like a bleed sword build or something like that, you could get real crazy with it. And then you get 2 more offense slots. So this is one of those really good items that I'm talking about that's going to be kind of hard to get because this is all damage stats. And getting 5 damage stats like this is not going to be easy. And this isn't even, coming from the best places, right? This is only 2 empty slots instead of, I think you can get up to 3. But I think you have to do the M3 dungeons to do that. So, we're looking at, imagine if these were all sort of defensive slots or you know, imagine if you had an armor that had a bunch of really good slots like that. Like we have slashing, harnessing, we have abyssal conditioning, prolonged favor, increase the duration of limited duration buffs, frost conditioning, right? So we got tons of conditioning on there that allows us to defend against different stuff. Here we've got elemental aversion, which is receiving less damage from elemental attacks. Arboreal conditioning, sturdy energy when blocking a hit while below 30% stamina. And then thrust conditioning. So again, a bunch of different conditionings and stuff. And so you're just going to be looking. Here's a really. This one has a lot of stuff on it, but I don't know how good it'll be. Nature harnessing is more nature damage. Don't really need that for tanking. But we've got shirking fortification. We've got freeing aggression, which will get you out of roots. We've got shirking energy, which will give you back stamina. I mean, that's kind of an interesting piece. Probably won't be of any value. Poisoning, base duration of your poisons you apply lasts 13% longer, stacks 5 times. That's nice. Strike harnessing, plus 2.5% strike damage, thrust protection, lightning protection, stamina recovery. So some mix and match in there. A little defense, a little offense, but that's not necessarily bad. But there's just so many different perk combinations you can get in here. Yo, what's up, Damien? And that just means that there's a really, really difficult time to get that bis, you know?